You know what nobody tells you about relationships? That fight you had last month about the Amazon packages wasn't really about the money. And that argument about the emergency fund, that wasn't about being responsible. What you're actually dealing with is something psychologists have known for decades, but the personal finance world has completely ignored. Your partner's brain is literally wired to handle money differently than yours, and until you understand the 4 attachment styles controlling your budget, you're going to keep having the same fight over and over again. I'm Alex Mercer, and today we're diving into the content gap that every finance channel has missed. We talk about investing strategies. We talk about budgeting apps, but nobody is talking about the psychological wiring that's been programmed into you and your partner since childhood that's sabotaging every financial decision you make together. This isn't about who's the saver and who's the spender. This is way deeper, and by the end of this video, you're going to understand why your partner does that thing with money that drives you absolutely insane. Here's what's happening. Attachment theory, which has been studied in psychology for over 70 years, explains how we bond with other people based on our early childhood experiences. Most people know about attachment styles in romantic relationships, the anxious type, the avoidant type, but here's what nobody's connected until recently. These exact same patterns control how you relate to money, especially in partnerships. Your attachment style with money isn't about how much you earn or even how you were raised rich or poor. It's about the emotional security or insecurity you felt around resources as a kid. And when 2 people with different money attachment styles try to share a budget, it's like speaking completely different emotional languages. One person is screaming for security, the other is gasping for freedom, and you're both talking about the same checking account. There are 4 money attachment styles, and I guarantee you're going to recognize yourself and your partner in at least 2 of these. More importantly, you're going to see why your budget keeps failing, and it has nothing to do with spreadsheets. Let's start with the anxious money attachment style. This is the person who checks the bank account multiple times a day. They need constant reassurance that everything is okay financially. They're the ones pushing for frequent money meetings, detailed budgets, and they get genuinely distressed when their partner is vague about spending. Here's the key. This isn't about control. This is about soothing a deep fear of financial abandonment or collapse. If you had parents who fought about money, hid financial problems, or experienced sudden financial loss, your brain learned that money equals danger unless you're constantly monitoring it. In a relationship, anxious money types often overfocus on saving, resist spending on experiences, and can come across as financially suffocating to their partner. Now, the avoidant money attachment style is the complete opposite. These people don't want to talk about money. They get uncomfortable with detailed financial planning. They might avoid looking at their accounts for weeks. They value financial independence above almost everything else and feel trapped by joint budgets or combined finances. And before you judge them as irresponsible, understand this. Avoidant money types often grew up in households where money was used as control, where financial dependence meant lost freedom, or where there was so much financial chaos that disconnection was the only way to cope. In relationships, they're the ones who say things like, "Let's just keep our finances separate," or "I've got it handled," when they very much do not have it handled. They're not trying to hide things or be difficult. Their nervous system literally registers financial intimacy as a threat to their autonomy. Third is the secure money attachment style, and this is the goal. Secure money types can talk about finances without anxiety or avoidance. They're comfortable with both saving and spending. They can plan for the future without obsessing. They can be flexible when situations change. They typically grew up in environments where money was present, but not the center of emotional drama, where needs were met consistently, and where financial decisions were discussed openly without fear or shame. Here's the reality. Only about 30 to 40% of people have secure money attachment. Most of us are some combination of anxious or avoidant. And that brings us to the 4th type, the fearful avoidant money attachment, also called disorganized attachment, is the most challenging. These people swing between extremes. One month, they're obsessively tracking every dollar. The next month, they're on a spending spree, ignoring the budget completely. They want financial security, but also sabotage it. They desire closeness around money decisions, but push their partner away when they get too close. This style typically comes from childhood environments where money was both the source of trauma and the potential solution, where financial chaos was the norm, or where caregivers were inconsistent with resources. Now here's why this matters for your actual budget. When an anxious money type partners with an avoidant money type, which is extremely common because we're often attracted to our opposite, you get a destructive cycle. The anxious partner pushes for more financial information, more planning, more control. This triggers the avoidant partner's fear of being trapped, so they withdraw further, hide purchases, avoid conversations. This withdrawal makes the anxious partner more anxious, so they push harder. Round and round. Your budget fails not because you chose the wrong app or because you don't make enough money. Your budget fails because one person's attempt at security triggers the other person's panic response, and nobody realizes this is happening at a nervous system level. You think you're arguing about whether to buy a new couch. You're actually arguing about childhood wounds neither of you has named. And here's what makes this even more complicated. These attachment styles don't just affect how you relate to your partner about money. They affect every financial decision you make. Anxious types often oversave to the point of sacrificing present quality of life. They struggle to invest because markets feel too uncertain. Avoidant types often underplan for retirement because long-term planning requires the kind of sustained attention they're wired to avoid. Fearful avoidant types might accumulate wealth, but then sabotage it with impulsive decisions right when they're close to a goal. So what do you actually do with this information? First, you need to identify your style and your partner's style. Have an explicit conversation, not during a fight about money, but during a calm moment. Say something like, "I learned about money attachment styles, and I think I might be anxious around money because of how I grew up. What do you think your style is?" Name it. Once it's named, it loses half its power. Second, create what I call attachment-aware money systems. If one partner is anxious, they need regular check-ins built into the system, not because the budget requires it, but because their nervous system requires it. Schedule a 15-minute money date every week, same time, same place. This isn't about solving problems. This is about providing the anxious partner consistent reassurance so they don't have to seek it constantly. If one partner is avoidant, they need autonomy built into the system. This might look like separate discretionary spending accounts where nobody has to explain or justify purchases under a certain amount. It might mean the avoidant partner doesn't attend every detailed planning session but agrees to a monthly high-level review. You're not accommodating irresponsibility. You're working with their wiring instead of against it. Third, understand that changing attachment styles is possible, but it's slow work. Secure attachment is built through consistent, predictable, safe experiences over time. If you're the secure partner, you have an opportunity to be the stable presence that slowly rewires your partner's expectations. If you're both insecure types, this might be where working with a financial therapist, yes, they exist, becomes invaluable. Here's something crucial. You cannot logic your way out of attachment responses. When your partner is triggered into their attachment pattern, facts and spreadsheets will not help. What helps is recognizing the fear underneath. The anxious partner isn't being controlling, they're terrified. The avoidant partner isn't being careless, they're protecting themselves from what feels like annihilation of their autonomy. When you can see the wound instead of just the behavior, everything changes. If this framework just made about 6 different fights with your partner suddenly makes sense, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. Drop a comment telling me your money attachment style. Be honest. And whether you think this explains some of the financial tension in your relationships. This is the kind of content the algorithm doesn't usually reward because it's not about get-rich-quick schemes, but it's the real work that actually changes your financial life. So help me get this in front of more people who need to hear it. Quick disclaimer, this is not financial advice and it's definitely not psychological therapy. If you're dealing with serious financial conflict in your relationship, please work with qualified professionals, both financial advisors and therapists who specialize in couples and money. Thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.